Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've certainly had a rich discussion tonight, and I won't belabor that discussion too much longer. I do want to say thank you to our city administrator, as well as to our finance director and our assistant finance director, who also had to step in throughout the budget process and really help us out. Any budget that we put together can be a daunting task, and as I look at this year's budget, I'm certainly appreciative of the work that our city administration has done to bring something to the table that is thoughtful and constructive. And quite frankly, what is finally on the table tonight, I think, is a fairly aggressive budget and places significant investment in our city services and ultimately the way that we provide those services to the residents. I was at a conference earlier today, and one of the quotes in a workshop was that with regard to budgeting, that we ought to purchase for results and not simply pay for the costs. And when I look at some of the things that we are doing in this year's budget, whether it's the addition of a police officer, whether it's ramping up our purchase of fire apparatus, or even implementing sidewalks on the western edge of town on West Columbia. I think these are all significant things that we're doing, and so many other things, equipment for fire, police, for DPW. We're making significant investments in our infrastructure and in the services that we provide. And also, I do have to say that I'm quite pleased that this year's budget has sidewalks on West Columbia because that's where I live and many of my neighbors as well. But I know that Councilmember Bruno has been a staunch advocate for this, and even before I was vocally supportive of it, Councilmember Bruno was ringing the bell. And so I do want to make sure that I thank him for his effort with regard to that, making sure that it was something that we talked about at our goals and objectives meeting, and making sure that it was something that we considered as part of this year's budget. So with that being said, I am delighted to support this year's budget because I think it's a strong investment in the future of our community, realizing that we still have more work to do. We may have more work to do with this budget in terms of future amendments, but I think it definitely sets us up in a good position to not only get a lot of things done this year, but to also still be in position to address unforeseen circumstances that may happen in future years and still have the possibility of doing some of our additional goals and objectives and wish lists, if you will. We do all of that without taking our fund balance significantly low and without placing additional burden on the residents with regard to our millage. And so for those reasons and many others, I will be voting yes in support of this year's budget. Thank you.